I stood at the edge of the town square, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows as it dipped toward the horizon. Brookfield was cozy, the kind of place where everyone knew your name, yet I felt like a stranger in my own skin. The laughter of children echoed from the nearby playground, blending with the soft murmur of adults chatting over coffee in the local cafe. It was the type of quaint scene that postcards were made for, but for me, it was just a backdrop to the storm brewing inside my chest. I took a deep breath, my mind swirling with thoughts of the past 2 years, and refocused on the wooden bench underneath the sprawling oak tree that had witnessed so much of my life. I could almost see the ghost of my younger self sitting there, completely unaware of the pain that awaited her in adulthood. "Hey, Lara," a cheerful voice broke through my dark reverie. I turned to see my old friend Kelly waving as she approached. Her blonde curls danced in the gentle wind. "You look like you just saw a ghost." "What's up?" Her concern was evident in her blue eyes, shimmering with friendly curiosity. "Just lost in thought, I guess," I replied, forcing a smile. "You know how it is." "Yeah, I do," she said, taking a seat beside me, her demeanor bouncy as always. "But you really should let loose a little. Grab a drink tonight. I mean, your idea of fun is sitting here brooding." Her laughter rang like a soft bell, but inside, my stomach twisted. Could she really understand the weight I carried? "Maybe," I said hesitantly. Kelly was sweet, she meant well. "I could use a drink." "Perfect, I'll pick you up at 7, we can go to the Rusty Nail, it's karaoke night." She clapped her hands, excitement radiating from her. I nodded, forcing myself to join in her enthusiasm. But my mind lingered on him, Matt, my ex-boyfriend. The reason my life had shifted so drastically. The tangled mess of heartbreak and betrayal replayed in my mind like a haunting melody. "Speaking of fun," Kelly continued, her voice lowering conspiratorially, "did you hear about the Halloween party at Hollow Manor?" I shook my head, feeling a chill race down my spine. "Do you really think anyone should go there? I mean, the place has a creepy history." "Oh, come on, it is just an old house," she scoffed, rolling her eyes. "They say it is haunted, but it'll be great, it's just for the thrill of it. You know, that stuff gets under my skin." I felt a shiver creep into my bones as I remembered the rumors swirling around Hollow Manor, especially about the last party thrown there. How few people never made it out. I'm serious, I had a weird feeling about that place. People disappeared, what if something happens? "You've just been watching too many horror movies, girl." She nudged me playfully, but her smile faltered slightly. "I mean, it's not like we'll be alone, everyone will be there, and who knows?" She winked, "Maybe there will be cute guys." I felt a flicker of excitement. The idea of seeing more than just dry, tedious faces at the party was a small comfort. But my heart sank again when I thought of Matt, the way he would sweep into a room full of confidence, laughing with his friends, utterly unaware of the storm he had caused. "I'll think about it," I said carefully, trying not to let my insecurities show. Kelly didn't seem convinced, but she just beamed at me and changed the subject back to safer grounds. "What about a new dress?" "I saw the cutest one at the boutique on Main Street. It was red and it would look fabulous on you." I hated shopping, but her enthusiasm was infectious. I could see her eyes sparkling with ideas and hopes. "Maybe I will stop by," I said, wanting to soothe her disappointment at my reluctance. "Great, let me know when you do, we can choose something together." Her voice chirped and we continued to talk, but a shadow hung over me, lurking just beneath the surface of our laughter. As we parted ways, I felt uneasiness coil inside me like a snake ready to strike. I walked toward my car, the familiar stillness creeping back in. I thought about Matt again, how he had laughed when I had told him I was pursuing law, a field he had never respected, even when we were together. The way he had flippantly mentioned how the town would be better without my self-righteous dreams. I had once felt small beside his towering figure, believing he would always be the sunlight shining down on my dreams. But he had turned dark, mocking my ambitions while chasing after someone pretense of perfection, a vicious betrayal that tore my world apart. A flicker of determination ignited in my chest. I was not going to be that girl anymore, the one who sat back, waiting for someone else to make decisions for her, feeling like a ghost in her own life. My heart pounded, giving way to a treacherous thought. I looked down at my phone, my fingers hovering over the screen as I considered my next move. I needed to find a way to make him pay for tearing me down, for laughing as he crushed my heart. Tonight I descended upon that party, not just to have fun but to enact a plan that had been simmering beneath my thoughts for far too long. It felt oddly satisfying to picture Matt's smug face when I showed up, confident and strong. He would see the woman he had discarded rising like a phoenix. This time I would not be a victim. Tonight, he would remember my name for all the wrong reasons. As I started my car and pulled away from the square, I could not help but smirk, the anticipation bubbling up inside me as I headed toward the nearby boutique. Each turn of the wheel solidified my resolve. I was finally ready to take back my narrative, and nothing was going to stop me as I sit in the dimly lit corner of the Crown and Anchor, the air heavy with the scent of stale beer and overcooked fries. I can feel my heart racing. I fidget with the sleeve of my jacket, the rough fabric scratching against my skin. I can see the flickering neon sign outside casting its sickly glow through the grimy window, illuminating the faces of the patrons. My mind races, plotting every detail of how I will finally confront Jason. A low growl like thunder erupts from my stomach. Eating something would help calm my nerves, but my thoughts are too consumed with visions of revenge. I take a deep breath and focus on the moment, on why I am here in the first place. I shift in my seat and spot Sarah, my old friend and confidant, pushing through the door. Her curly hair bounces around her shoulders and she quickly scans the room until her eyes land on me. A smile breaks across her face and it makes me feel a little less alone. She strides over, her heels clicking against the wooden floor with an air of confidence. "Lara, how long has it been?" she exclaims, her voice bright as a summer's day. "Too long," I reply, managing a smile that feels like a mask. "Thanks for meeting me." "Are you all right? You look a little intense," she observes, eyeing me with concern. "I am fine," I say a little too quickly, pinching the edges of my sleeve tighter. "I just have a lot on my mind." Sarah studies me for a moment, then rolls her eyes with the familiarity of a friend who knows me well. "Come on, spill it. I can tell there is more to this." "You look like you're about to explode." I glance around to make sure no one is listening. The chatter of nearby tables creates a comforting white noise, shielding our conversation like a bubble. "Okay, it's about Jason," I say, my voice dropping to a whisper, every ounce of pain from the betrayal rushing back. "Jason, as in your ex." She leans in closer, her eyebrows furrowed. "What's he done now?" I take a deep breath, the bitterness coating my throat. "Remember the way he left me? How he walked out on everything, shattered my dreams?" She nods slowly, her expression somber. "Yeah, that was brutal. You made plans together. It's heartbreaking." "Exactly. And now he thinks he can just waltz back into my life whenever he pleases because he has the charm, the money, and the connections. He doesn't get to do that, not after what he did." My fists clench under the table, nails digging into my palms. "Lara, you can't keep holding on to this anger," Sarah cautions, her voice gentle but firm. "Moving on would be healthier for you." But I shake my head, the stubbornness rising within me like smoke. "No, Sarah, this isn't just about moving on, it's about justice. He hurt me and I can't let it go. I want him to feel what I felt. I need him to understand the damage he caused." Sarah takes a deep breath, her hazel eyes examining me as she processes my words. "Let me guess, you have a plan?" I lean in closer, excitement rushing through me, a burning fire igniting in my chest. "Yes, I do. I want to expose him, to show everyone his true colors. He puts on a perfect act, but if they really knew him." "What do you mean?" she asks, her curiosity piqued. "There's a charity gala next week. You know, the one he sponsors every year. I found out he's going to give a speech presenting his newest project. The project that's made him thousands of dollars." "Okay, I can crash it," I say, a grin breaking across my face. "I can show up armed with pictures and proof of what he did. I can tell everyone there who he really is." "Lara, that's bold. You could get yourself into serious trouble doing that." "But don't you see, this is my chance, my moment to finally take control. I have to make him understand that he can't just walk away without consequences." "Have you actually thought this through? What if it goes wrong?" Her concern is real, but impatience gnaws at the back of my mind like an unwelcome itch. "I don't care," I hiss softly, leaning back in my chair. "I have spent too long sitting in the shadows of his lies and deceit. No more. If I don't do this now, I'll always wonder what could have happened." "But what if he gets angry? What if he retaliates?" A shiver of dread runs down my spine, but I shove it aside. "Let him. I am ready for whatever comes next. I can't back down. This isn't just about revenge, it's about reclaiming my life. I need to scream my truth." The table trembles lightly as I pound my fist down, the thud echoing between us like an unspoken promise. Sarah's expression turns serious, her lips pursed. "You have to be careful, Lara. You can't just act on impulse." "Sure, I will think it through," I say, though I can feel that fire inside me rising. It's consuming my thoughts, unraveling my sense of caution. But I won't let him get away with it. "All right then, if you're set on this plan, at least let me help you prepare. We can ensure you have everything you need for evidence when the time comes." Relief floods me, and for the first time in a long while, I feel a sense of purpose radiating within. "Thank you, Sarah. I need you on my side for this. Just promise me you will think twice before taking the plunge," she urges, keeping her green eyes steady on mine. "I promise. Sort of. I just want to be free again." My voice trails off, heavy with emotion. As she leans back in her chair, the sound of clinking glasses and laughter surrounds us, gradually creeping back into my awareness. The noise, the vibrant atmosphere, begins to fade into a white noise backdrop as I uncover the taste of revenge on my tongue like a delicious secret. The clock above the bar ticks steadily, and I can barely hear it over the roaring excitement inside me. Every tick, my resolve hardens, and a vision of Jason's shocked expression fills my mind. I can see it so clearly, like a scene in a movie. He would stand there, stammering, feeling the weight of his sins fall upon him like a mountain. "Lara," Sarah's gentle voice pulls me back to reality. "Are you with me?" I blink, shaking my head slightly. "Yes, sorry, just imagining it's going to be so sweet, the moment of truth. I just want to make sure you have a solid plan," she reiterates. "We will. I'll gather the evidence over the next few days, maybe even recruit a few buddies to help if I need extra support." I say, confidence surging through my veins. Once I walk into that gala, there will be no turning back. I'll be in control. As we share a laugh over drinks and old memories, the tension begins to fade, but that fire within me remains, flickering brightly like the neon lights outside. The club feels like a different world now, buzzing with life while my focus rests on the future I am determined to create. My reckoning will be bold, and I cannot wait to stand in the spotlight, finally reclaiming what he so callously took from me. The smell of fresh coffee permeated the small, cozy cafe as I slipped inside, the bell above the door jingling softly as I entered. The midday bustle of Brookfield surrounded me, but the soft music playing in the background felt like a blanket that wrapped around my tensions. I chose a table in the corner, one that allowed me to see the entrance without being easily visible. I had a plan, and it was simple: draw him in and watch his mask crumble. I ordered my usual, a cappuccino with just the right amount of foam, and the barista, Anna, flashed a warm smile at me. "Hey Lara," the usual. "Yep, you know me too well, Anna," I replied while twirling a strand of my long chestnut hair around my finger. I could feel my heart beating a little faster than normal, but I had prepared for this meeting for weeks. As I waited for James to arrive, I replayed the details of our last encounter. I had not anticipated how much seeing him would stir up feelings. The hint of betrayal, the raw anger bubbling just beneath the surface. It had been hard to keep my emotions locked away. Most importantly, I needed to keep my focus. I needed this to be about vengeance, not about the man I once loved, especially after how he had crushed my heart underfoot. "Your cappuccino," Anna said, sliding the warm cup towards me, the delicate porcelain almost glistening in the soft light of the cafe. "Thanks, Anna, you really know how to brighten my day," I said, giving her a grateful smile. As I watched her return to the counter, my mind wandered to the moment when we had decided to be together. A high school romance that blossomed into something deeper before he had decided to walk away for someone else. I pushed those memories aside, focusing instead on the ambitious plan I had crafted to confront James. There were consequences to his choices, and I would make sure he understood that today. I glanced at the clock perched on the wall as the seconds ticked by with agonizing slowness. Suddenly, the door swung open, and in walked James, looking just as handsome as he did years ago. Those striking blue eyes, that infuriating, charming grin, my stomach tightened at the sight of him. "Lara," he said, his voice low and filled with surprise. "I didn't expect to see you here." "Surprise, surprise," I said, forcing my lips into a smile that didn't quite reach my eyes. I gestured for him to sit down across from me, and he did, sliding right into the seat as if we were picking up where we left off. "How have you been?" "Busy, you know. Work keeps piling up, and I heard about your demolition project," I interrupted, letting my gaze harden. "You cut costs under the table. Did you think nobody would find out?" His smile faltered for a moment, and I could see the gears turning in his head as he tried to figure out how to save face. "Lara, don't Lara me," I said sharply, leaning forward, the heat in my words igniting a fire in my chest. "You hurt people, and you thought you would get away with it. I came here to talk about what you did, what we were." "I didn't mean to hurt you, you know that," he replied, the bravado slipping away like water through his fingers. "Didn't mean to." My eyes blazed, and I could feel my fingers curling into tight fists on the table. "You don't just not mean to hurt someone, James. You made a choice. You chose her over me." "I was young. I got confused. Life changes everything," he said, desperation coating his voice. "I thought you deserved better. I thought better. And you thought it was okay to make that decision for me, to walk away like I meant nothing." The anger poured out of my throat as I felt my heartbeat echoing in my ears. "You have to understand what it took for me to trust you, to let you in. You think I'm just going to sit here and let you sweet-talk your way back into my life?" "I just want to explain," he said finally, a hint of pleading creeping into his tone. "I need you to know." "Know what?" "That I was a fool to believe in us. That I wasted years of my life." "What do you want me to say?" Every word dripped with bitterness, and I watched him squirm as I hit him with the reality of his choices. His face turned red, and for a moment it looked like he might actually say something sincere, but I wasn't ready to let up. "What will it take for you to get it through your head?" I continued, my voice rising. "Do you really think everything can just go back to how it was?" With a few pretty words and a smile, "I just thought we could talk about it," he stammered, shifting uncomfortably in his seat. "I didn't mean to hurt you. It was never my intention." In that moment, I realized I had the upper hand. I took a deep breath, the aroma of my cappuccino mixing with the tension in the air. "You did hurt me, James, and now it's time for a reckoning. You wanted to play your little game, and I am here to show you that the rules have changed." James frowned, confusion settling onto his features. "What do you mean?" "It's not just forgiveness I'm after," I said, letting the corner of my mouth curve into a smirk, a sensation both thrilling and chilling. "You think you can just waltz back into my life when you feel like it? No, James, I want you to know what it feels like to be betrayed, to be the one left in the dust." "How does that feel?" He was silent, and I could see the wheels turning in his head. The vulnerability in his eyes sent a jolt through me, a mix of satisfaction and anger. I was finally giving him a taste of his own bitter medicine. "I didn't think." "Of course you didn't think." I exploded, the words bursting forth like a dam breaking. If you had thought you wouldn't be in this position, you would have realized that what you did was like throwing a metaphorical grenade into everything we built. And now it's a different game. I'm the one holding the cards, not you. Look, I can't change the past. I can only be honest now, he said, frustration etching lines into his forehead. I want to make things right. Make things right, I echoed, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. What does that even mean to you, James? You want to buy me off with flowers and fancy dinners? You think that erases the pain, the empty evenings I spent waiting for you to show up, the nights where I question everything I ever did to deserve what happened? I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say. I messed up, his voice trembled, and something in me stirred, a flicker of the old affection threatening to soften my hardened heart. But I could not afford that. No, James, you need to feel this. You need to understand and live with the consequences of your actions, just like I had to. I leaned back in my chair, the sensation of power flooding through me. This was the moment I had been waiting for, a moment where I held the reins to all the hurt he had inflicted upon me. I just want peace between us, he said quietly, his voice barely above a whisper. Peace. I threw my head back and laughed bitterly again. You think you deserve peace after everything, after you shattered my world? You don't get to write that narrative. You lost that right the day you chose her. Then what do you want from me? His deep breath underlined the defeat creeping into his voice. I leaned forward, piercing him with my gaze. I want you to sit with your guilt. I want you to remember me not as the woman you left behind, but as the woman who became stronger after you tried to break her. The silence enveloped us like a thick fog, and in that moment something shifted. James's facade of confidence was crumbling, and beneath it I could see the vulnerability emerging. I just wanted to be happy, he finally admitted, a deep sigh escaping his lips. Then you should have thought about that before. I took a sip from my cappuccino, letting the heat settle in my chest. You made your choices, and now I am making mine. All that's left to do is watch you squirm just like I did. With that, all pretense of reconciliation disappeared from the table, and as I stared into his eyes, I knew this was just the beginning. I could feel the fire of vengeance lighting the way forward, illuminating paths I had never dared to tread before. And now, James would learn that every action has a reaction, and this was mine. As he sat there, processing my words, I couldn't help but feel the intoxicating rush of power coursing through me. Knowing I was in control for once, I stood in front of the full-length mirror, the soft glow of the bathroom lights reflecting off my determined face. My stomach churned with a mix of excitement and dread as I adjusted the collar of my crimson blouse, a conscious choice for its boldness. It was a color that screamed confidence, the kind of confidence that masked the nervous energy bubbling inside me. Every detail felt magnified. My heart thudded against my chest, the dampness of my palms felt like a reminder of the weight of what I was about to do. I took a deep breath, inhaling the subtly floral scent of my perfume, a mundane detail that suddenly seemed significant. I had spent far too long allowing the shadows of my past to control my present. Today, that ended. I rehearsed my conversation in my mind as I headed towards the front door. I could practically hear Ethan's smug voice in my head, his laugh still trailing behind me like a ghost of past torment. You think you can upstage me, Lara? He'd sneered more than once, his words dripping with disdain as if my very existence was a challenge he simply had to conquer. Not today, I whispered to myself as I stepped outside into the crisp autumn air. The leaves crunched beneath my shoes, a playful reminder that change was inevitable, just like the reckoning that was about to unfold. Some leaves had already begun their transformation, vibrant amber and rust swirling like flames against the slate gray sky. I drew strength from that kaleidoscope of colors, gathering every ounce of courage I could muster. Hey, are you ready for today? I heard Jessica call out as she came up beside me. Her curly hair bounced with the energy she always radiated. She was my rock, my confidant, and had been through every step of this damn plan. I think so. Nervous as hell, but I'm ready, I admitted, my heart racing. Good, you've got this. Just remember why we're doing this. Ethan has not only hurt you, but he has put so many others down. It is time someone takes a stand, and you are the perfect person to do it. Thanks, Jess. I just don't want to chicken out when I see him, I confessed, rubbing my sweaty palms against my jeans. You won't just be you. You have every right to take control of this situation, she encouraged, her eyes locking onto mine, reassurance flooding through her gaze. We reached the cafe where we were meeting. From the outside, it appeared unassuming, but I knew its warm atmosphere would be perfect for what I had planned. The small bell chimed as we entered, a pleasant ding that soothed my racing heart. I let the scent of freshly brewed coffee envelop me like a hug. The barista was buzzing behind the counter, steam rising from the espresso machine, creating wisps of fog that curled through the air. It felt oddly comforting. Let's grab a seat near the back, Jessica suggested, her voice a mere whisper since we were on a mission. I followed her and slid into the plush booth, a world of shadows enveloping us as we settled into our seats. I could see the entrance from here, the sharp chill from the air conditioning making it just cool enough that a shiver danced down my spine. Order first, then we wait? she prompted, her tone reminiscent of a soldier prepping for battle. There was a shimmer of excitement in her brown eyes, mirroring my own anticipation. I'll have a cappuccino, I said, biting my lip. Anxiety prickled at my skin, but beneath that, I felt a fire igniting. It was a feeling I had long missed. I watched as Jessica ordered her usual mocha with a side of baked goods that would probably provide a sugar rush to carry us through. As we waited, time seemed to stretch and squish, the seconds crawling agonizingly. I glanced at the door every time the bell chimed, each sound mingling with the sound of my racing heart. What if he doesn't show? I asked, half joking, half worrying. He will. He'll never pass up an opportunity to flaunt how effortlessly charming he thinks he is. Remember, this is about you, Lara. You're taking your power back, Jessica assured me, but her words evaporated into the air when I caught sight of him. Ethan entered, exuding an air of arrogance that filled the room before he even stepped fully inside. Oh, here we go, I muttered under my breath, my stomach tightening with a mix of anger and fear. He's looking right at you. Are you panicking? Jessica whispered, her eyes darting between us like she wanted to shield me from his glance. Honestly, yes, but I can't do this if I'm shaking, I replied, slapping my palms against my thighs to steady my nerves. I felt like an athlete preparing for the big game, adrenaline pulsing just underneath my skin. Ethan strolled towards us, his pinstripe suit tailored to perfection. He looked like he belonged on a runway, that smug smile plastered on his face like it was an accessory. Lara, so lovely to see you, he said, feigning sweetness that just dripped with condescension. Funny, I remember a different version of lovely from our past, I retorted as bitterness surged through me. He chuckled as if my words were merely a playful jab instead of a slice of truth. Is this your friend? He directed his attention to Jessica, glancing her up and down as if appraising her worth. Yes, and she is 10 times better company than you have ever been, I shot back, feeling my strength return in layers. Touché, he replied, pretending to be amused. So what brings you two lovely ladies together, a little coffee date? It's more of a power meeting, I said, folding my arms across my chest. I was surprised at my own boldness, my voice tinged with excitement. Oh, what kind of power? He asked, interest flashing in his dark eyes. The kind that you'll never understand, I shot back, feeling emboldened by the challenge. You enjoy hurting people, Ethan, but I'm here to show you that I am not afraid of you anymore. He chuckled again, but it was a tight, edgy sound, the laugh of a man who suddenly realized this conversation was not going the way he wanted. Oh, Lara, so naive. You think by confronting me you can hurt my reputation? That you can somehow poke at the all-consuming darkness in my life? Not trying to hurt you, I countered, keeping my voice steady despite the swirling emotions within me. I'm trying to liberate myself from the shadows you cast. The words felt like a truth bullet, piercing through his carefully curated facade. His face hardened for a moment before he regained his composure. Well, you have to admit, it is a little pitiful. You dragging me into this little cafe to flaunt your newfound confidence is quite amusing. He leaned back in his chair, a smug grin ornamenting his lips as if I were some pet he delighted in taunting. Not flaunting confidence, I shot back, my voice growing stronger. You always thought I was weak, but you just didn't see that I was quietly gathering strength. I can stand here and tell you that you do not own my spirit, and that no matter how long it took, I would rise above you. Ethan's expression twisted from amusement to cold annoyance, his facade slipping just enough for me to see the anger simmering beneath. You're going to regret this, Lara, I promise you. No, I interrupted, my voice rising as fear slowly turned into power. You're the one who will regret ever crossing me. I'm not your plaything anymore, and this stops today. I could see Jessica's wide-eyed surprise and thrill at my newfound boldness, and it spurred me on. Believe what you want, but this is not a game. You think you can hide behind your arrogance, but the truth is it will get exposed, and I will be the one to shine light on it, I said firmly, feeling the conviction in my words rise like an unquenchable fire inside my chest. Ethan stared at me, his mouth opening to retort, but I wouldn't let him. I had taken control of this moment, and there was no returning to his past or mine. You will have to answer for your actions, even if you do not see it yet. Lara, he spat, a hint of desperation edging back in his voice. You don't know who you're dealing with. Oh, I know, I said, leaning in, my heart racing with the thrill of defiance. And that's why I'm not afraid anymore. The words hung between us, an electric tension that crackled in the air. I felt exhilarated, liberated, anything but pitiful. I would rise, and I would make sure he understood that his reign of disdain was coming to an end. As the realization sank in, the weight of my past slowly started to lift. I saw the flicker of fear in Ethan's eyes for the first time. It was small but significant, like the first spark that ignites a much larger flame. Don't think this is over, he said, his voice laced with threats, though I could sense the tremor behind it. I smiled, the icy satisfaction spreading through me. Oh, I'm counting on it. As he stalked out of the cafe, I felt the air shift around me. The clarity of that confrontation imbued me with an intense sense of purpose. I turned to Jessica, who bore a proud smile on her face. Did you see that? You were amazing, she exclaimed, practically bouncing in her seat. Did I really just do that? I asked, an incredulous laugh escaping my lips. Yes, and now we know he is afraid of you, Jessica replied, the excitement reverberating between us. Let's keep this momentum going, I said, grinning wider than I had in years. One confrontation down, and countless possibilities ahead. Lara stood in front of her bathroom mirror, taking a deep breath as she applied a final touch of crimson lipstick. This was it. She could feel the tension like a taut string ready to snap. The dim light cast shadows on her face, emphasizing the resolve in her eyes. She had spent months planning, strategizing every detail of her revenge against Jason, her former partner who had betrayed her in a way she thought unimaginable. Fuming thoughts swirled in her mind as she recalled the day he had walked out, leaving her battered and angry, her trust shattered. The memory was like an old wound, stinging a little less now but still raw. Today was the day she would confront him, and there was no turning back. "You can do this, Lara," she muttered under her breath, her voice firm as she straightened the collar of her black blazer, feeling powerful in her tailored attire. Stepping away from the mirror, the sharp scent of her floral perfume filled the small space, adding a layer of confidence that accompanied her fury. The plan was simple, yet effective: to lure Jason to the old cafe where they first met, a place that held too many memories, bittersweet and sad. She grabbed her purse and walked out, the chill in the air hitting her like a slap, awakening the calming wave of determination inside her. "He will realize the kind of monster he unleashed," she whispered as she climbed into her car, the engine rumbling to life as she pulled out of her driveway. Each turn she took led her deeper into the web of memories they had spun together. As the cafe came into view, a wave of nostalgia washed over her. Yellowing lights flickered above the entrance, casting a romantic glow that seemed mocking now. It was as if the universe was teasing her, drawing her back into a time when love had seemed like a promising fairy tale. "Not today," she breathed, metal creaking as she parked with purpose. She closed the door behind her with a sense of finality, feeling the brisk air filling her lungs, invigorating her spirit like a baptism into new resolve. Inside, the cafe was buzzing with soft conversations and clinking dishes, the aroma of fresh coffee wafting through the air, wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. She spotted him almost immediately, sitting at their old table by the window, his face illuminated in the soft glow of that familiar spot, a half-smile creeping on his lips as he sipped an espresso. He looked so confident, dressed in sleek business attire that emphasized his role as the successful professional. The discord between his exterior and her memories was jarring. Every laugh they shared here, every promise made, felt like a knife twisting in her gut. Taking a deep breath, she moved toward him, forcing a smile that felt a bit too tight around the edges. "Lara," he said, his voice a mix of surprise and feigned warmth as he looked up. "Wow, it's been a while, you look different." The sarcasm dripped like poison, and she swallowed hard, longing to scream, to shout, to unleash the tempest of her heart's anger. "I'm glad to hear you notice," she replied, using her sweet tone to mask the storm brewing beneath her surface. "Different in a good way, I hope." "Oh, definitely," she said, raising an eyebrow. "Different in a way that means I am stronger now, ready to face you." His smile faded a notch, confusion replacing the familiarity in his gaze. "What does that mean?" She slid into the chair opposite him, feeling the weight of their past settle between them like an invisible wall. "It means you can drop the act, Jason. I know what you did." The color drained from his face. He leaned back, tension tightening the space around them. "What are you talking about?" "You know I would never." "Don't even try to gaslight me," she interrupted, her voice steady and fierce. "You think I have forgotten how you manipulated me, how you betrayed my trust? You ripped my heart out, Jason, and now I'm here to take back what you took from me." He shifted uncomfortably, the arrogance slipping from his demeanor. "You should let it go, Lara. That was a long time ago." "Let it go." She let out a small laugh, the sound echoing with disbelief. "You expect me to just forget? You were the one person I thought I could rely on, the one I thought actually loved me, but you used me. You were living a lie like it was a second skin." "That's not true. I loved you in my own way. It just got complicated." "Complicated?" She leaned in, lowering her voice for only him to hear. "You don't get to hide behind those words. You robbed me of my faith and crushed my spirit. And you think love can step in and erase all that?" Jason opened his mouth to respond, but no words came. The silence hung thick, tension rising like the steam from her now cold coffee. She could see the flicker of doubt in his eyes, the realization that the little world he had built around himself was starting to crumble. "I'm not going to ask you to apologize or make amends. That doesn't matter to me anymore," Lara said, her voice even, but the fire behind her words was almost palpable. "What matters is closing this chapter, getting my power back, and moving on." He furrowed his brow, trying to gauge her intent, but she shot him a confident smile. "No, this isn't some attempt to rekindle what once was, Jason. I came here to show you that I'm not the same person who was dependent on you. I am strong, and I refuse to let you take any more from me. You're angry, I get that, but this is not the way to handle it." He leaned forward, trying to connect with her on a level that felt distant. "Let me help you." The desperation trembled in his voice, fraying the edges of her resolve. "Help? You think you can help me after everything you did?" She felt a pulse of anger flare up inside her. No, I don't want your help. I want your acknowledgement of what you did and the scars you left. His gaze darkened, defensiveness creeping in, and the comfort he had always exuded was replaced with apprehension. Lara, I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did, she said flatly, her heart racing now. The consequences of your actions made me who I am today. And today I stand here against you not as the woman you once controlled, but as a force within myself. You're making a mistake. I'm still the same person, Lara. I haven't changed. Oh, but you have, she asserted, her words precise, sharp like a knife. You've changed because I refuse to let you use me as a pawn in your little game anymore. With those words, the last remnants of their shared truths faded into the background, leaving only her determination echoing in the space between them. She stood up abruptly, her chair scraping against the tiled floor, the sound catching the attention of a few patrons nearby. You need to know that I will never be that vulnerable woman again. I have taken back my power, and no moment with you will define my future. As she turned, she felt his gaze boring into her back, filled with regret and confusion. Lara, he called after her, but she kept walking, feeling like a phoenix rising from the ashes of her past. The door swung shut behind her with a decisive thud, the cool air wrapping around her like armor. Outside, the streetlights flickered, illuminating a pathway she had carved away from the shadows of her sorrow. Each step she took made her heartbeat resonate with freedom. She felt lighter, stronger. It was time to rise and embrace the life ahead of her, knowing that this was the end of one chapter and the beginning of a more glorious resurrection.